So let me just say that I think the idea and intention was beautiful. Okay, but I'm struggling with the remake of theWiz not because I don't love the work of the artists who have been cast, because I absolutely do. But I'm married by nostalgia to the original. And for anyone who's ever seen the Wiz movie, I don't need to explain it to you. I am literally transported when I watch the original The Wiz movie. In all fairness, let me break this whole thing down for you. The Wiz, the Broadway stage play, came to being as a result of The Wizard of Oz leaving nothing for us. Hence The Wiz, which they not only reinvented, but catapulted any inkling of creative magnificence that the Wizard of Oz held. So just get that out of the way. It was a white stage play that was brought to life in the movies, after which black artists who were being ignored came together and decided to create a version for us. So that came to being, and that was so magnificent, starring Stephanie Mills. That was so magnificent that we made it into a movie. For anybody who's a reader, you more than not, you prefer to read the book first, because the book is going to be more creative, and the movie, as creative as it could be, is going to be limited to the perspective of the writer and or director. In this particular case, the original The Wiz movie met and exceeded all imaginary expectations. And then we have this, The Wiz. Now, I'm going to tell you that from the moment, in all fairness, from the moment that I understood that this to be a concept, I had reservations. And I had what I feel like was justifiable reservations, not because of the work of the artist, again, but because classics are just that. There's no need to remake a classic because it's classic. There's no shade on anyone who intends to remake it, but if your creativity is all that, then create something new. Create something new. Don't catapult off of. So when I initially heard about this, I was like, ooh, I don't know. Again, I just felt the same way I felt about Sparkle. Yeah, and then I started hearing the names of some of the actors who had been cast in it. And as much as I love some of their work, it didn't change my perspective. I just, my ability to embrace it was held hostage by nostalgia. When The Wiz Live came on, we're going to differentiate it, which is what they've been trying to do anyway. So we're going to go ahead and go along with the consensus and differentiate it by calling it The Wiz Live. So The Wiz Live came about, and I understood that it was going to be a play. So that right there is not going to be able to compete with the movie, The Wiz, which is fine, because I support and encourage, artistry that does not shackle diversity within the art, unless it is an answer to a creation that already shackled, that already had no diversity. So like when you're doing an answer to it, such as The Wiz was for The Wizard of Oz, then that's fine, because the whole point of answering it is to include those who were excluded originally. Now, I said all that to get to this review, but I want you to understand where I stand when I review this, because I don't want to shade anybody I don't want to shade this display of artistry, because I get it. I get the premise of wanting to do this. So when everybody else watched it, I didn't want to watch it because I didn't want to be influenced one way or another. I could have watched it and just not logged on to see what anybody said too, but I wanted to, Mr. and I wanted to watch it together. He still didn't make it through because I was going to watch it the following night, but I couldn't wait. And he got home in enough time for us to start watching together, but He fell asleep halfway through, which says a little bit of something, but he fell asleep halfway through. My love for the original Wiz movie made me stay awake and continue to watch. And I'm glad I did. Should I do a brief overview first? Yeah, I'm going to do a brief overview first, and then I'll kind of fast forward through that. I have a cue just in case I miss anything. I was thrilled to see that they included the original Broadway Dorothy, Stephanie Mills, who still has her chops. So I was pleased to see her. This new little girl that they have introduced into the industry, I want to give a shout out to her because she is a beautiful young lady. Her timing is amazing. The reality is that whoever gets cast as Dorothy is going to have to be in almost, if not every single scene, know everybody's dance routine, and know when to come in and when to lay back within her own right. And this little girl nailed everything. She nailed everything. She would be across the board a stage director's dream. She is a stage director's dream. So any angst I have about The Wiz being remade has nothing to do with her capabilities, because she is a star. Okay? Apparently she was a star before she became a star. So we're looking at a star here. But she is a star across the board. She is the thing about The Wiz is not the Wizard of Oz. It never has been, and the intention was for us is for us. And so let me just say that nothing about her talent separates her from the broad range, which is good in terms of getting work for her, because that means she should be able to be cast in Rent. She should be able to be cast in Wicked. She should be able to be cast in any Broadway stage play, in any role, without race being a factor. However, that ability is what separated, for me, her from being what I would expect Dorothy to be in The Wiz, as opposed to the Wizard of Oz. So basically, she could have been Dorothy in the Wizard of Oz, as far as I'm concerned, because she's just that talented. But I loved seeing the little innuendos that reiterated that this is The Wiz and not the Wizard of Oz. David Alan Grier nailed the Cowardly Lion. When I heard he was a Cowardly Lion, I immediately saw that match. I don't know anybody who wouldn't have. Shout out to David Alan Grier. To me, he's always had an awkward humor. Like even when he was in Living Color, it seemed like he's really corny. But what makes him funny is that you can see him work, and you can see that he is his own biggest fan. Like he thinks he's so hilarious, and he's not. But the more hilarious he thinks he is, the more hilarious he really is. And that's just about his talent in general. So seeing him cross into the lion, who has to have this pseudo ego until he's found out as being cowardly, fits beautifully within that that character. So he did all that I would expect for him to do in the greatness of that character and more. He did really he exceeded my expectations in general, and I did expect that he would be great. So he did good. He did really well. The gentleman that played the Scarecrow is obviously a stage play veteran. So he magnified his position in every aspect. Neyo surprised me. He did very, very well, but he shouldn't have surprised me, because we all know he's been in those dance movies and so forth. And we know Neyo can dance, okay? Neyo came through as a Tin Man, and I felt his emotions and the different aspects of his character. Neyo nailed the Tin Man. Get it? Nailed. Tin. Amber Riley as one of the witches was fantastic. She has the pipes for a stage. I know she's not, is she on Glee? She's on one of the musical series. So it was understandable that she would know the value of projecting your voice on stage. She did that. So shout out to Amber. Randomly speaking, this little cute ass little munchkin that had, oh my god, this woman had the cutest little face. And the one with the yarn crochet bob braids with the hat on top of it and a little flower in the hat.
You don't gotta fret about her. Seeing how you offed her sister, she gets her hands on you. She'll slice, dice, and deep fry your butt before you can blink, so no sense in worrying about her. Have a nice trip! Regards to the wind.
Oh my god, she was so cute. That was the cutest little thing in the world. Oh, I loved her. Every time she opened her mouth, I was on the edge of my seat seeing what cute random things she had to say. She was really cute. She was really cute. And you expect a lot of cuteness in something like theWiz. But that's what you expect a lot of. And they had it sprinkled in there regularly. But I recall there being a lot of cuteness in the original Wiz. Anywho, another person who came through was Mary J Blige. What's in a new crispy chicken wrap, girl? Mary J Blige came through. From her entrance onto the stage to her water murder. Mary J Blige came through. She had the voice, she had the projection, she had the evil, the animated evilness. It wasn't even just mean evilness, it was that animated evilness that theWiz has. Her robotic dance moves, which are natural for her, fell right into line in this particular. Mary, oh Mary. You know, Mary's the kind of person who will go back to school to master a certain area of her art if she needs to. And I believe that she easily may or may not have done it. She may have just, Mary did it. Shout out to you, Mary. Mary. And I love and respect Dana. So shout out to Dana for landing the role of theWiz. I really love most of her work. Smooches. So let me just roll through this really quick and see if there's anything that I missed. It was very well cast in general.
Sweet thing, let me tell you about the world and the way things are.
Yeah, Amber.
You come from a different place, and I know you traveled far right. Now that you told me what it is, ta 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 ta, wanna be a
Oh yeah, Common was the doorman. Common was the Emerald City's doorman. Common sure gets his feet wet in a lot of high-profile projects. That's awesome for him.
Well, don't try me, because I am eating with all y'all today. I wake up in the afternoon. Don't nobody bring me no bad news. Don't nobody bring me no bad news. Which one of us dropped the house on the other one's sister? And which one of us yanked the silver slippers right off of that dead sister's not even cold yet feet? And which one of us gathered a whole crew to put a hit out on the other one? You're 3 for 3, little girl. So before you go casting shade, I take myself a good look at you.
Ooh, you 3 for 3, little girl. And it was everything that they made Crazy Eyes Glenda. Ooh, she was so beautiful. All in all, I give the artists all the accolades for doing a magnificent job on this remake of a classic. It's just that I define classics as something that not only need not be remade, but any efforts to remake them are skewed by the incomparable qualities of the original. I will say I wasn't disappointed. It's just that you can't disappoint someone that could never even fathom a remake of something that was so amazing. It's like, even if it's good, even if it's really, 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 really good, it's a remake of something that wasn't meant to be remade ever again. Hence, it being a genuine classic. It's like how people throw around the word legendary for today's artists. They also throw around the word classic. You know, but a classic is not to be tampered with. And it's not even shade for someone who does tamper with it or tries to remake it. It's just, it can't be. So whoever tries it just tried it. Not even like I'm mad at you for trying it, but you tried it. Because it's not, I can't say it's not possible. It's obviously possible. There it is right there. And it's a beautiful effort. But theWiz is a classic. And I loved everybody's contribution. Oh, that's another thing. I always wanted to give an official and public shout out to every single itty bitty inkling of an extra of a dancer or artist on the original Wiz. Because even aside from the stars of the original Wiz, the extras in their dance numbers they just transported you into that world. When those dancers came together, like even the little dancers on the end, the dancers way in the back, the dancers you could barely see, the dancers you got a 3-second glimpse at, everybody was going all in on the dancers. Not that these dancers weren't great, but those dancers, if you had a soul, you were forced to emote. So this was a great play to watch. I wasn't transported, but it was a great play to watch. And I'm glad it got airtime. I'm glad it got primetime airtime. And I'm also glad it exposed some additional races that we already knew are out there, but some of you guys got to be reminded every time. Every time you have to see one of your friends to go, ooh, it was an all black cast. And you could just side eye them. And that's another thing. I'm not mad at you guys for educating racists on theWiz in particular, because all the answers you're giving to them are obvious. Let them say what they say. Let them publicize it. Let them go ahead and say it's racist and it's all black cast and everything. And let them say that, and take your personal notes and know who you're dealing with. That's all you have to do. Everybody, it's obvious what's what. Just let them do it. And be attentive to them revealing to you who they are. That's it. Simple as that. As simple as that. And that's number 2. Number 1, just like you guys do us, there was a token. There was a token in the Vogue scene. So just the way you guys include us and call it diversity, so you get yourself a black man and effeminate him as much as possible, so he'll be the least intimidating since he's an automatic threat on sight by the skin color. It actually held up in terms of being an answer to the Wizard of Oz, because they did have a token in the Vogue scene, up front and center, by the way. And by the way, some of you girls could have taught him how to squat better than that. His squat march left something to be desired. But, you know, shout out to him for his cameo in a major stage production that was televised nationally. This little girl, Shanice, is the cutest. And so open to growth and development. Her mother did a beautiful job with her on a personal level. So shout out to her mother as well.